Welcome, everyone. How's everybody doing? Yeah. Um, behave, behave. I feel bad for Todd Kimberly, man, but got to make an example out of somebody. Dude got a big mouth. I don't like it. Like, listen, a lot of y'all are like, he said he wasn't going to talk about this case anymore. He said it. Well, I did say that, but I did say if there were developments, significant developments, such as this, that yeah, I would talk about it. I also said, I think I even specified that if Michael was arrested, that I would talk about it. So here I am talking about it. So not only do you got to use your eyes, you got to use your ears. Okay. I don't need people who don't listen, period. So I'm going to go ahead and read something here. All right. So, a statement from Collin County Sheriff's Office says Collin County Sheriff's Office confirms that Sophie Long has been located in a foreign country and and is in protective custody. Arrangements are being made for her safe return to her family in the United States. Michael Long is in custody on a felony warrant for interference with child custody. The United States government is working on the extradition of Long back to Collin County, Texas. Collin County Sheriff Jim Skinner stated, "Many months of determined work by my deputies, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and the U.S. Marshals paid off this morning. We are so happy that Sophie is safe. No additional information regarding this case will be released until Sophie is back on U.S. soil." Now, interesting stuff about this is, why did it take them so long? I mean, all that hard work they were talking about, right? Why did it take them so long? Many months of determined work. It wasn't like they were like building a case. You know what I mean? And getting something together for some sort of conviction. There was already the warrant out. He was already, I mean, it was just a matter of picking him up, finding him and picking him up. How hard was that? How hard is that? The dude was blasting himself all over social media, playing guitar and flipping his hair and, bringing love to the world, all that stuff. And like, man, okay. And the thing is one of the reasons that I decided to go live today, as I was telling some people that I was speaking to privately about this, is kind of doing it in part out of spite, in part just out of spite, because it blows my mind that people are so hateful. People are so hateful. Now, do I think Michael's kind of a douchebag? Yeah, absolutely. Most of us do. That was why I decided, you know what? If you're not going to help yourself, I'm not going to help you. So I mean, that was my whole thing. And when it came to sorry, I'm getting so yeah, when it came to as soon as this press release comes out, right? as soon as this press release comes out, like, of course, the idiot channels, one idiot went live for 6 hours to celebrate just that this dude went to jail. Like, what kind of hateful, what is that? That's so hateful. 6 hours. 6 hours. Think about that. Like, how do you hate someone and want them to go to jail for, so bad that you got to celebrate it and talk about it for 6 friggin' hours? Now, I mean, right, exactly, Angel. Exactly. Right. You know that this dude, yeah, he made some real bad decisions. I'll give him that, but he was in no way a danger to this child. The going over time and time again the Collin County court transcripts, the affidavits from Kelly, and I have new ones that I'm going to be going over tonight. The affidavit of Kelly Long, or the deposition, sorry, the deposition of Kelly Long. Uh, there's 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 no there's nothing to indicate, there's no evidence to indicate that he's ever been any type of danger to any of his children. Out of it was clear, the evidence was clear that between him, his environment, and the environment that Kelly would provide for Sophie and the other boys, uh, Kelly was definitely more of the threat. And let's not forget that Sophie clearly just wanted to be with her dad. Or not even just that she wanted to be with her dad. She was adamant about not wanting to be with her mom. Adamant about it. And another thing about that statement that troubles me is that it says that they're proud to announce that they're taking her back to her family. I was under the impression that could be a typo. It could be some misinformation. Maybe the sheriff didn't really know what the court order says so much, but I was under the impression that she was going to go to a third party. That's what everybody thought, right? That Sophie was going to be going to a third party, a neutral third party. And she was going to undergo some therapy and conditioning to be reunited with her mom, to work towards wanting to be with her mom. But she's going straight back to Kelly. And now, mind you, one thing that was going on here was one thing that was going on in court when I there was one transcript that I read from one of the court dates, one of the court hearings. There was, yeah, I know, Irish fan. She was supposed to go to Kelly's sister originally, but I don't know, that Tim, whatever the hell his name is, that fool, he said something else, and who knows how true that stuff is. But supposedly it was supposed to be a neutral party, not even her sister anymore. So but I don't know where he gets that from. I don't know where that dude gets any of his information from. And that's why I'm not even going to read that stupid post that he put up today, because it holds no water with me. So yeah, I don't care what his name is. But thank you. Yeah, I know. I have the screenshot. I don't need it. I'm telling you, I just don't need to read it, because screw that guy. Right. Absolutely, Paige. You're absolutely right about that. You know, nobody, this, I've been saying this every time I talked about this case prior. Anyone that was cheering for Michael Long to be arrested and go to jail obviously did not carefully read these transcripts from the court, and they obviously could not, for some reason, compute the obviousness that was taking place, which was that case was absolutely and totally mishandled, whether it was negligence or corruption. But that case was absolutely mishandled by the Collin County Court. There's no crime that this man has committed that merits him going to jail, as long as he was sentenced to go to jail. So, and the person that suffers most from this is Sophie. So the person that suffers most from this is absolutely Sophie. And so, like I said, do I like Michael personally at this point? Not really. Not really. Do I think he deserves to go to jail? No. No. Like this is a major injustice. Um that's that's my opinion. That's my opinion. So for people to, I mean, this one person went live for 6 hours to celebrate this. 6 hours. And with, in my opinion, easily the most irritating voice on all of YouTube. This person sounds like they buy cigarettes by the cartons, like 5 at a time, and makes a couple of trips a week to do it. She's Michael Long is in jail. Michael Long is in jail. I see. This person never shows their face. This person never shows their face, but I picture what she looks like in my head based on what her voice sounds like to me. Like I just picture she looks like to me like in my head, right? Like Fire Marshal Bill, you know, from you guys remember Fire Marshal Bill from In Living Color? Does anybody remember Fire Marshal Bill from In Living Color, the Jim Carrey character? That that's what Queen Bee looks like in my head. Like, let me show you something. That's totally what. All right, I need to stop. All right, so yeah, to me, this is like a gross injustice. It's absolutely a gross injustice. And so so I'm gonna go ahead and just I'm gonna explain. I'm gonna explain. I'm gonna explain, and I'm gonna read affidavits, because the home that the sheriff here is saying that Sophie is going to be going to, I'm going to read the stuff that it apparently allegedly consists of, and I'm going to read affidavits from Kelly, and I'm going to read them from Jake. So I'm going to read Kelly's first. Okay, let me show you real quick that. Let me tell you something. All right. It's the last time I'm going to do that. All right. Let me share the screen here. I'm not going to keep it up here. I'm just going to, you know, just so you can see that I have this affidavit. I'm not making it up. It's all right here. I'm going to read it. Okay. One second. Well, this is just, now remember, they have their own kid, right? Jake and Kelly have their own child. This is about that. This is about custody of that child. So, but as we know, they split up, get back together, and in the transcript of the court case for Sophie. Now, in the transcript of the court case for Sophie, one of the final days, one of the final hearings, the judge was inclined, quote unquote, to grant the request to lift the injunction that that Jake can't be around the kids. So, assuming that that's the case, I'm going to explain why that's a real bad idea. I'm going to read it to you. So, it says here, affidavit of Kelly Long. Kelly Long appeared in person before me today and stated under oath, "My name is Kelly Long. I am above the age of 18 years old, and I am fully competent to make this affidavit. The facts and circumstances alleged are true to the best of my knowledge and belief. My name is Kelly Long, hereinafter known as Kelly, and I am the petitioner mother to, I'm not going to share the name, born on February. Their father and respondent is Jacob Bellington, hereinafter known as Jake. On October 1st, 2021, Jake was arrested on Interstate 35 in Lewisville, Texas. His truck had broken down in the middle of 35 around 5:30 p.m. When I discovered they were broken down, I volunteered to come get Mowgli as he was not stuck in a broken down truck. During rush hour, which I believed to be a dangerous situation, I did not hear back from Jake until after 7 p.m. when he indicated that they were still in the middle of the highway. I asked if he had called the police so people wouldn't hit them, and why the child had been allowed to be there for 1.5 hours when I could have come and brought him to safety. Jake responded by saying, "Don't I always look out for his best interests?" And I was freaking out because he had possession of him and had control issues, quote unquote. I chose not to pursue the discussion further as I felt it would quickly escalate. An hour after that, Jake's father called me. He said that Jake had been arrested on an old charge and that the child was there during the arrest. He stated he had possession of the child. I told him Jake had been arrested because there may have been a warrant out for his arrest from an incident that occurred on June 18th, 2021. I think we're all pretty familiar with that incident. On that date, Jake was intoxicated and attempting to drive his vehicle with the child inside. We had an altercation and he slammed the car door on me to keep me from removing the child. There was a physical struggle and the neighbors called the police. At that point, I was able to remove the child from the vehicle and Jake drove off. I asked Jake's dad where the child was, and how I could get him. He responded by telling me, "If you're not cooperative with Jake, I'm not going to be cooperative in returning your son." Okay, let me read that again. "If you're not cooperative with Jake, I'm not going to be cooperative in returning your son, my grandson, to you." So he's already threatening to. Now, this is interesting because this to me is consistent with the behavior of someone who is enabled by their parent, meaning Jake by his dad, right? It's also consistent with Sophie's accusations as far as what she claimed. She basically claimed that this was basically a family effort, right? This shows that there is some sort of control that this side of this family had over Kelly. This very much indicates that to me, which makes me believe Sophie's claims that much more. But remember, there are two sides to this story, right? But if you also remember, we heard a bunch of 911 calls. We heard Kelly in distress in each call, okay? And we also heard the kind of control that Jake had over her. Because what she was afraid of mostly was him leaving her. It was always some sort of fear that he would leave her. I'll continue reading. He then said, Jake's dad, didn't know where he was or where I could get the child, and hung up the phone. I called back several times and there was no response. So why does this dude think that he has more rights over this child than this child's own mother? Why? What makes this man think that? So like I said, that's to me is very consistent with the type of enabling that that this that this man has. And this is right. This is Jake's dad. The stepdad is the one in law enforcement. Um, all of Jake's side seems controlling and manipulative. I agree. I agree. So, but Jake's stepdad having that kind of power in law enforcement would make sense that there's why the court is acting in on behalf of Kelly in the case against Michael. Let's see. I then called 911, attempting to find more information about the incident or see if I could request assistance since Jake's dad is not a guardian of this child. It is important to note that I am currently already missing a child from a custody case with my ex-husband, Michael Long. To date, Michael's rights have been terminated, and he has been missing with my daughter since July 7th, 2021. Jake's dad attempting to use my child as leverage for cooperating a charge in which I was the victim was extremely traumatic and upsetting. Telling me he would not return my child unless I was cooperative, combined with the fact that I have a missing child already, felt like an act of cruelty that caused me extreme distress and panic. After contacting the police, I discovered Jake had told his dad to call me and give my child to me. I indicated that had not occurred, and the officer told me that Jake's dad and brother had agreed to meet me at the QT off exit 407 in Flower Mound. I drove there, and when I pulled up, I discovered this child sitting in the back seat of Jake's brother's truck. The door was unlocked and open, and the child was in a car seat, not buckled. I did not speak to anyone. I picked him up, buckled him in my car, and scat and drove my, oh, sorry, small print. Buckled him in my car seat and drove away. Jake attempted to contact me from the Louisville and Denton County Jail multiple times to bail him out and pay his bond. I did not answer these calls, and I did not bail him out. I was unaware until this arrest. Now, why didn't his dad do it? You know what I'm saying? Like, if his dad's like risking a kidnapping charge, right? Why didn't his dad post bond for his own son? That makes no sense to me. That's really weird. Why is he, I was unaware until this arrest that Jake had been indicted and charged with assault, domestic with physical injury against me, and injury to a child against our son. I also discovered at the end of last week that the property Jake has been living on in Flower Mound. Now, this gets interesting, folks. This gets interesting. I also discovered at the end of last week that the property Jake has been living on in Flower Mound for the last year had its electricity meter removed permanently. Okay. The other location Jake has been attempting to move to is located in Millers Cove, Texas, and owned by a friend of his. Jake has been planning to renovate a concession stand into a place for him to live. It currently has no housing foundation, bedrooms, or electricity, and is approximately 2 hours away. So I just want to let me gloat for a second here. I just want to take a second to gloat, folks. All of you idiots, including you, Colostomy Karen, especially you, Colostomy Karen. I hope you're listening. Oh my goodness, I hope you're listening. Please tell me you're listening. I love it. I love it. Her whole content, her whole reasoning why Michael Long was not a fit parent was because he lived in an RV on his dad's property, on his parents' property. That was Her whole foundation of content, was the reason why Michael Long was not a fit parent, was because he lived in an RV, okay? That had power, by the way. Okay? He lived in an RV. He had access to utilities, right? Parents' house were right there. Sophie had her own bedroom in the parents' home. But yet he was an unfit parent, but Jake was this stand-up dude. He's a stand-up dude. He's stable, and he's hot too, right? You remember her saying that? He's hot too, right? Okay. So yeah, I just had to gloat there for a second. So hashtag Swill was right. Moving on. I believe at this point that Jake's judgment as a parent, combined with his anger and alcohol and drug issues, okay, will cause our son to be in imminent harm. I am also fearful for our son to be around his family, as they have now threatened me to be cooperative, or they will hide my son from me. I suspect that Jake has been using drugs, and he has not taken any drug tests CPS has ordered beginning back in June 2020. Also, a very interesting little tidbit of information. This is coming from Kelly, people. I suspect that Jake has been using drugs and has not taken any drug tests CPS has ordered beginning back in June 2020. Previously, I have attempted to keep our relationship amicable, so I could fully focus on the issue at hand with my ex-husband and missing daughter. It appears the danger to our son is escalating, and I can no longer do that. I pray the courts will remove our son from Jake until he can actively seek the help and counseling he needs to address his drug, anger, and alcohol issues. That line right there implies to me that he still has their son and is just not giving him to her. Very interesting. But Jake has a rebuttal. And I'll get into that in just a second. I'm going to look over chat, see what your all's reactions are to I mean, these idiots that have been so loud, this whole time and telling lie after lie after lie after lie in defense of Kelly Long. These are words coming from Kelly herself. This is a sworn affidavit. So if you're defending Kelly as a mom this whole time and saying, well, Jake is great. He's great. He's way better influence than Michael could ever be, right? I mean, there you have it. It's as plain as day. Flower Child, I'm with you. I'm gonna get to that too, but I'm with you on that. What's up, Panda Lady? I mean, I've done nothing but read court documents. Like that's been my argument this whole time. I've done nothing but read court documents, people. Like, I am inclined to agree with you. Just call me hen. I am inclined to agree with you. Oh, I wish it were. Kelsey, I agree with you. I wish it were. I wish that a Netflix documentary producer would put this together and make that happen, and shine a light on the Collin County court system and make that be the focus. I wish that would be the case. All right. So now we're going to hear Jake's side. Okay. Um, Now this is case number 401-55532 2020. Um, 401st Judicial District, Collin County, Texas. Jake appeared in person before me today and stated under oath, my name is Jacob Wayne. I am above the age of 18 years old, and I am fully competent to make this affidavit. The facts stated in this affidavit are within my personal knowledge and are true and correct. I am the respondent in this case and father of our son, Kelly Marie, known hereafter as Kelly, is the petitioner and the mother of our son. And his statement goes as follows. Kelly and I have exercised various possession and access schedules for our son since we stopped living together. At times, we have co-parented extremely well, adjusting to one another's needs and schedules. When I was receiving death threats from her ex-husband because of his false allegations against me, Kelly and I felt it was best that she and our son stay in a hotel for a while and that I stay elsewhere. Now, I don't doubt that to be true. Now, I don't think Michael himself has made any death threats, but by making that video public, and going on social media as much as he did, I'm sure that took place. Now, I want to be clear about something. There is speculation that there are certain YouTube creators, such as myself and a couple of other people that will remain nameless out of respect, that they say it's because of them that they were forced to go into a motel. But the facts will indicate that they were forced to go to that hotel before any of us even picked up this case. So I just want to be clear about that. After that, our son came to stay with me for a couple of weeks. Then when we officially moved apart, we alternated possession of our child, where she had him from Monday through Friday, and I had our son from Friday afternoon through either Sunday or Monday morning. So this is a very different thing that Kelly was saying in her affidavit. We did that until after I got out of the hospital this summer. And then when I wasn't working because I was recovering from my injury, I would have our child from Monday through Friday, and she would have him on the weekends. We would sometimes exchange after church in the evenings. Really, whatever we needed to make work, we did. Once I went back to work until I was arrested on October 1st, 2021, we had gone back to Kelly having our child on Monday through Friday. And I had him from Friday through Monday. At no point did she express any fears or concerns with me being around him unsupervised, which I actually am inclined to believe that part to a certain degree. On or about Friday, October 1st, 2021, my diesel truck broke down. While I was in possession of our child, we were headed north in an express lane on I-35. I was able to pull over to the shoulder in a place where oncoming vehicles could see me clearly. I informed Kelly of the situation and that she didn't need to come get him like she wanted to. I did not think it was best for her to put her life and the life of other children at any risk by coming to get our child. I then contacted my father to help with the situation. I don't believe my child and I were in much danger because where we were located, where the son was, and the fact that our child stayed in the car in his seatbelt the entire time, not to mention a police car passed us at one point and didn't stop. Once I got my vehicle up and running, that same police car pulled up behind us, and one of the officers asked for my license. Upon running it, he informed me that he needed to arrest me, at which point I asked my father to take our child and call Kelly to inform her that I'd been arrested. Kelly has never had a problem with Okay. Kelly has never had a problem with marijuana use as I have. Seen Kelly use herself uh, marijuana on several different times in 2021. On or about December 18th, 2020, I met up with Kelly's current attorney, David C. Routson Jr., at his insistence at the Ring of Honor restaurant in Dallas Cowboys Golf Club. Now, this gets interesting, folks. He had reached out to me. He talked about what I should and should not say to a CPS investigator and the amicus at ad litem attorney regarding involving her other children. Now, this is regarding the case against Michael. So Routson comes and he says, let's meet in this neutral spot, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And according to Jake here, he's coaching him on what to say to any CPS investigator, what to say and what not to say to a CPS investigator and to an amicus ad litem attorney. He was very concerned about not painting Kelly in any kind of bad light to them. Okay. This is all very interesting, folks. I hope you're with me. David C. Routson Jr. actually sat in on the only meeting I had with the amicus and ad litem attorneys in 2021 for Kelly's other case. Lastly, at no point between October 1st, 2021 and October 6, 2021, did David C. Routson Jr. provide me with any notice that Kelly was attempting to obtain a TRO under, now TRO meaning temporary restraining order, under Collin County Local Rule 2.4. Kelly's attorney was required to either notify me and provide me with the copy of the application at least 2 hours prior to presenting any TRO to the court, or he was required to file a certificate of counsel with the court stating that an irreparable harm was likely imminent and that there was not sufficient time to notify opposing party, or that notifying the opposing party would impair or annul the court's power to grant relief. I believe that the above statement should be taken into consideration pertaining to my special exceptions motion to dissolve the TRO and my motion to disqualify petitioner's attorney, and that all the relief I am requesting is in the best interest of our child. And that's it for that one. Okay, now there's another affidavit that I'll read in just a little bit. So Kelly plays dirty, man. She's got a lawyer that plays dirty. Is that a big shocker there? I mean, I've been saying this for what? Over a year. You know? I mean, this Routson dude, he's dirty. So he comes and he coaches Jake on what to say and what not to say to the amicus ad litem and the and the CPS investigators. And now why would Routson need to coach Jake on what to say and what not to say about Kelly if Kelly hadn't been doing anything wrong? If she was a suitable place for this child to live, why would Routson need to coach Jake on what to say to a CPS, a Child Protective Services investigator, if Kelly was a suitable mom? I don't see what. Okay. I feel like anybody should hire Kelly's attorney. I mean, all right. So I'm just gonna skip through all the, I am who I say I am, and blah 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 blah. Okay, so Jacob accepts and objects to the following sections of Kelly Long's First Amended petition in suit affecting parent-child relationship, including the affidavit of Kelly Long attached to the petition. Affidavit of Kelly Long, paragraph 3, when I discovered they were broken down, I volunteered to come and get our son so he was not stuck in a broken down truck during rush hour, which I believe to be a dangerous situation. I did not hear back from Jake until after 7 p.m. when he indicated they were still in the middle of the highway. I asked if he had called the police so people wouldn't hit them and why this child had been allowed to be there for 1.5 hours when I could have come and brought him to safety. Jake responded by saying, "Don't I always look out for our son's best interest?" And I was freaking out because he had possession of our child and had control issues. I chose not to pursue the discussion further as I felt it would quickly escalate. And so the response to that is Kelly Marie misstates facts of the situation that she had limited to no personal knowledge of in an attempt to mislead the court. Kelly Long was not in the vehicle with Jacob and admits to having limited contact with him and therefore has no idea the level of risk associated with the situation. Now, this is an interesting little technicality. It's a good little lawyer's trick right here. Kelly unreasonably reached the conclusion that something bad was going to happen without trusting an adult to be able to assess the situation for themselves. Kelly Long fails to state in any specific fact showing that irreparable injury, irreparable injury, loss, or damage resulted to the child. In fact, the child was never harmed, and Kelly picked him up on the evening of October 1st, 2021 with no injuries. See Jacob's affidavit attached here too as Exhibit A and incorporated by reference fully herein for an actual accounting of the situation that occurred on October 1st, 2021. So Kelly Long's affidavit, paragraph 4, I told him Jake had been arrested because there have been a warrant out for his arrest from an incident that occurred on June 18th, 2021. On that date, Jake was intoxicated and attempting to drive his vehicle with our child inside. We had an altercation and he slammed the car door on me to keep me from removing our child. There was a physical struggle and the neighbors called the police. At that point, I was able to remove our child from the vehicle and Jake drove off. This section of Kelly Marie's statement has no relevance to the circumstances of the child and the incident on the shoulder of the highway, which occurred on October 1st, 2021. I don't know about that. I mean, that's a nice try, but let me continue before I get into that. Kelly is referencing an alleged incident that occurred in June of 2021. Kelly Long fails to state that Jake had numerous possessions of the child since the date, including the evening of October 1st, 2021. Kelly Long also does not state any injury that occurred to the child during the alleged June incident. So what he's trying to do here, what Jake's lawyer is doing here, is breaking down her affidavit. He's breaking it down. He's basically saying, he's picking it apart. He's cherry picking. He's picking it apart. Taking little things and kind of tweaking them, right? Which is what lawyers do. That's what you pay them for. That's why you pay them thousands and thousands of dollars. And so he's basically saying that why does the June incident have anything to do with this incident? Well, I mean, I don't know, but I feel like that June incident is relevant because he was arrested for that June incident on that October incident. That October of 2021 incident, he was arrested for what took place in the June incident. So in a way, it's relevant because he had never actually been arrested. He had a warrant. He should have been arrested already, but he hadn't been. And So, but I get that the legal argument in that. I get that because they're saying, well, that doesn't say, I mean, just because I was arrested that day, that doesn't mean that the child was in danger on October 1st, 2021. So I kind of get that. I mean, like if I'm a judge, I don't know what I'm gonna, you know what I mean? So I think that's interesting. It's a interesting little lawyer trick there. Kelly Long is trying to get in irrelevant information in an attempt to mislead the court. God, this is so ugly. Like this is so ugly. This back and forth, man. So this affidavit is basically disputing. It's just here. The purpose of this affidavit is to counter Kelly's affidavit. And it sounds to me like Jake has a better lawyer. Kelly Long's affidavit, paragraph 5, he responded by telling me, if you're not cooperative with Jake, I'm not going to be cooperative in returning your son, my grandson, to you. That is obviously Jake's dad. He then said he didn't know where he was or where I could get our son and hung up the phone. So basically, this dude, if I didn't make that clear earlier, by saying that, he's saying, well, I don't even know where your son is. So I don't even know where he is. And then hung up on her. This section of Kelly Long's statement is not a true and accurate depiction of the conversation with my father, and is again in an attempt to mislead the court and gain sympathy. My dad's affidavit attached here too as Exhibit B and incorporated fully by reference, which I don't have here, guys, herein, which depicts the true nature of the conversation and details the fact that the child was not in any harm or risk of being abducted. But so it's basically her word, Kelly's word against Jake's dad's word, based on that supposed conversation. And I mean, here's the thing is, I think everybody here is a liar, man. I don't know who to believe. I think there's a little bit of truth to all of this stuff. And just enough of lies to make their truth be relevant to make their points and win their arguments. That's what I think is going on here, which is, I think, goes on in every argument. Or in the paragraph 5 continues, or see if I could request assistance since Jake's dad is not the guardian of my son. It is important to note that I am currently already missing a child from a custody case with my ex-husband, Michael Long. To date, Michael Long's rights have been terminated, and he has been missing with my daughter since July 7th, 2021. Jake's dad attempting to use our son as leverage for cooperating a charge in which I was the victim was hide our son from me. I suspect that Jake has been using drugs, and he has not taken any drug tests since drug tests CPS has ordered beginning back in June 2020. Previously, I have attempted to keep our relationship amicable so I could fully focus on the issue at hand with my ex-husband and missing daughter. It appears the danger of Mowgli is escalating, and I can no longer do that. I pray the courts will remove our son from Jake until he can actively seek the help and counseling he needs to address the drug, anger, and alcohol issues. The section of Kelly Long's statement has no relevance to the circumstances of this child as they existed on October 1st, 2021, or to this case at all. Kelly Long is referencing a tragic case involving one of her other children that she has with another man who is not Jake. In addition, Kelly Long references CPS orders, but fails to attach any evidence of such orders, fails to mention her own drug use and attempts to beat drug testing by herself. Listen up, folks, because this gets interesting. I'm going to read that last part one more time. Okay. If I can find it. Kelly Long references CPS orders, but fails to attach any evidence of such orders. Fails to mention her own drug use and attempts to beat drug testing by herself. Nowhere in her affidavit does she express any situation that is escalating involving the child or any irreparable danger to the child. Here, the child was picked up by his grandfather and brought to a location where he was then picked up by Kelly Long. This section of Kelly Long's statement has no relevance to the circumstances of the child. The incident on the shoulder of highway occurred on October 1st, 2021, and she is referencing an alleged incident that occurred in June of 2021. Kelly Long fails to state that Jake Bellington had numerous possessions of the child since that date, including the evening of October 1st, 2021. Kelly Long is trying to get in irrelevant information in an attempt to mislead the court. Kelly Long is seeking relief to be granted before notice is served and hearing held, because Kelly Long is seeking the relief that, 1, attach the body of the child, 2, take the child into possession of the court or person designated by the court, or 3, exclude a parent from the possession or access to a child. She must show that irreparable injury, loss, or damage will result as required by Texas Family Code 105.001B. Kelly Long's supporting affidavit fails to allege any grounds upon which the court may grant a temporary restraining order as required by Texas Family Code 105.001B. All right. It was necessary for Jacob Wayne Bellington to secure the services of Mark Claspy, a licensed attorney, to prepare and defend this suit. Petitioner Kelly Long should be ordered to pay reasonable attorney's fees, expenses, and costs through trial and appeal, and judgment should be rendered in favor of this attorney and against Kelly Long, and be ordered paid directly to Jacob Wayne Bellington's attorney, who may enforce the judgment in the attorney's own name. Jake requests post-judgment interest as allowed by law. So right there, that's one shot to the jugular. Remember, Kelly did this to Michael. That he's got to pay her lawyer fees, right? So this dude's lawyer is confident. He's confident. Jake's lawyer is super confident, and he's saying, I want her to pay my attorney fees. I'm not paying for this. Which, wow. I mean, wow. So, but the thing is what I'm thinking about right now is there's something about Kelly's story that doesn't make a lot of sense, right? There's something about Kelly's story that doesn't make a lot of sense. Why would Jake's dad hold their kid and say, I'm not giving your kid back, right? You need to cooperate with Jake if you want your kid back, and basically hold the kid hostage, right? Yet Jake's dad won't pay his bond, right? Doesn't care enough about him to get him out of jail, right? You know he can do it, but he won't get him out of jail, right? Yet Jake clearly has a lawyer, because you know Jake didn't type that up. Jake's not a lawyer. So I wonder who's paying for his attorney fees, right? And I'm guessing it's probably his dad, right? But he won't bail him out of jail, right? And why does Jake have to renovate a hot dog cart, a hot dog stand, right? Why does Jake have to renovate a hot dog stand so he can live in it, right? With no electricity, nothing. Why does he have to do that? Why won't his folks give him a place to crash? Doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? But if this is the case, right? If this is the case, if Kelly had, according to her deposition, Kelly had all, you know, she had this great job. She got a promotion and she was making a whole bunch of money, right? That house was hers. She had this really nice house. So she was basically supporting Jake, right? But she was so afraid of Jake leaving her in those 911 calls, right? So, I mean, clearly there's this situation where she is emotionally and completely emotionally dependent on him. And he's clearly abusive. There's no doubt in my mind that he's absolutely abusive. Wouldn't that lean more towards Sophie's story making more sense? If he's physically abusive, if there are text messages, Instagram instant messages, or direct messages from Kelly to someone else stating that Jake cannot perform without cocaine use. He cannot perform sexually without cocaine use, right? Won't even touch her, right? But wouldn't that kind of make Sophie's claims make a little bit more sense? To me, it kind of does. Kelly doesn't do it for him. Sophie does, as sick as it fucking much sickens me to say that. But is it so hard to believe now that Kelly would actually sacrifice her own child for his gratification just to get some sort of approval from him, to feel attractive to him in some way, shape, or form? Is that so hard to believe? Not to me. Yeah, I wondered about that too. Yeah, because that's what I thought. But I mean, but I've also heard of having such a dependency on it that that's what you need in order to perform. I've heard of that. So I don't know. So all of this stuff is making Sophie's claims make more sense to me. Her behavior, everything that's going on makes it more and more believable to me, as outlandish as it is. But all of the other things that we know about this, all of the stuff that we've talked about over the last year, all of the stuff we've talked about over the last year and 4 months, doesn't that make sense? Doesn't it make a little bit more sense hearing these claims? So the prayer, I guess that's a legal term as well. Jake prays that all relief prayed for by Movant be denied, and that Jake be granted all relief requested in this answer. Jake requests that the court enter an order striking those portions of Kelly Long's pleadings and accompanying attachments, and ordering Kelly to replead her First Amendment petition, or first, I keep saying amendment, first amended petition in suit affecting parent-child relationship with a reasonable time in conformity with the court's ruling. Respondent prays for attorney's fees, expenses and costs as requested above. Respondent prays for general relief. Original answer, objection to assignment of case to associate judge. Respondent Jake objects to the assignment of this matter to an associate judge for a trial on the merits or presiding at a jury trial. And then there's all these, legal codes, which I'm not going to read. I'm just going to get through it. It was necessary for respondent to secure the services of Mark Claspy, a licensed attorney. This Mark Claspy's good, though, by the way. He's good. It seems like. But I mean, I really wouldn't know. A licensed attorney to prepare and defend this suit. He's definitely, I don't know if he's good, but he's definitely ambitious. If the parties are unable to reach an agreement on all issues, petitioner Kelly should be ordered to pay reasonable attorney fees, expenses, and costs through trial and appeal, and judgment should be rendered in favor of this attorney and against petitioner, and be ordered paid directly to Jake Bellington's attorney, who may enforce the judgment in the attorney's own name. Jake Bellington requests post-judgment interest as allowed by law. See, now this is all interesting to me because we're getting to the point to where what he's requesting from the court, he's requesting something from the court, which is very, very interesting because you're looking at what's going on. So Kelly is saying this dude is a danger to our child. He's an absolute danger to our child, right? After trying to get the injunction lifted where Jake could hang out with Michael's kids, and she's now saying that her child with him is in danger with him, right? And she's trying to get full custody and keep him away. She's trying to get a TRO. She wants him out of the picture, right? And see, one thing that is important to remember in at least my experience in family court, because my son claimed abuse, right? My son claimed abuse, and I was telling my attorney, dude, no way. But he was like, look, it's a bad look, right? It's a bad look if we go in there because the court's objective, family court's objective is exactly that, family. And they want to try to keep the family functional and together if they can, but if not together, at least functional, right? They want to keep everybody having a good relationship with everybody. That's the family court's objective. So if I go in there and I say, we want full custody, it comes off to the judge like you're trying to get at the mother. So it's a good look for Jake to the judge because a father trying to keep a child away from their mother is a bad look, and it looks like you're trying to control that person. If she's claiming that you're abusive and you go in there and say, hey, no, I want her out of the picture. I want full custody of my kid. Well, then that's going to look like, okay, this dude has control issues like she's claiming. Why wouldn't I believe that he has control issues? So this is a very strategic move by Jake's lawyer saying, no, I just want reasonable time with my kid. And if that's granted, I want her to pay my attorney's fees because we shouldn't even be here in the first place. So it's only fair that she pays for my attorney's fees because she's petitioning against me and I don't even know why. So it's a slick move. It's a very, very, very strategic move. Now, this gets interesting here. Now there's a motion to disqualify the petitioner's attorney. The motion to disqualify petitioner's attorney, that means that he's filing a motion to get Routson out of the picture, right? This motion to disqualify petitioner's attorney is brought by Jake Bellington, respondent, who shows in support David C. Routson Jr. is an essential fact witness in Jacob's case, pertaining to multiple different essential facts detailed in Jake Bellington's affidavit attached as Exhibit A and incorporated fully by reference herein. On September 30th, 2020, David C. Routson filed an original suit affecting parent-child relationship for petitioner Kelly Long. On October 9th, 2021, Jacob Bellington first learned of this lawsuit filed by Mr. Routson. On Friday, December 18th, 2020, David Routson Jr. met with Jake Bellington at the Ring of Honor restaurant at Dallas Cowboys Golf Club in Grapevine to discuss petitioner's children and a pending CPS investigation. Now, I'm guessing that the Dallas Cowboys Golf Club is probably a really fancy little schmancy place, and it's there to keep Jake's guard down. He's like, let me take you to lunch, take you to a place I like to go. You ever been to the Dallas Cowboys Golf Club? This is where the Cowboys play golf. You know what I mean? Like it's a slick move on Ralston's part, right? It's a super slick move on Ralston's part. Like, I just picture that happening. It's super fun. Like I can totally see that going down. And Jake, you know, in the middle of building a house out of a hot dog stand, is like, yeah, dude, you could buy me lunch at where the Cowboys play, sure. So during this meeting, Mr. Ralston did not mention that he had filed a petition pertaining to the child, the subject of this suit. So basically what he's saying here, this is very interesting because he fails to mention it, right? This is his argument. So, okay, wait. So I read this wrong. Hold on. Okay, so September 30th, 2020, Ralston filed an original suit affecting parent. Now what? Okay, maybe he's talking about the Michael's case. I guess he's talking about Michael's case. In October 9th, 2021, Jacob first learned of this lawsuit filed by no. So wait, she filed. Am I reading this right? On September 30th, 2020, David Ralston Jr. Now remember, the whole Sophie thing started in August of 2020. Remember that? So September of 2020, Ralston files a suit affecting parent-child relationship for petitioner Kelly Long. So that has to be against Jake because Michael was the petitioner against Kelly, wasn't he, originally? I'm not sure about that. I'm not 100% sure on that. Okay, so Jake first learns of this lawsuit on October 9th, 2021. So that can't be right. This must be against him because he had to have known he was with Kelly all that time. We're talking about a year and a month later. 1 year and 1 month later, Jake first learns about this lawsuit. He already knew about what was going on between Kelly. He lived with her. He already knew what was going on between Kelly and Michael. So this must be a lawsuit against Jake. So on October 9th, 2021, Jake first learns of this lawsuit. And then on Friday, December 18th is when, oh, okay. All right. Okay. All right. This is just not in order. Okay. I got the years mixed up. So let me explain that real quick. So September 30th, 2020 is when Ralston files the lawsuit against Jake on behalf of Kelly. And then on Friday, December 18th, 2020, so just a couple of months later, right? Just a couple of months later, from September to December, the same year, on December 2020 is when David meets with Jake at the Dallas Cowboys Golf Club to discuss the case against Michael and what to say to CPS and what to say to the amicus and ad litem attorneys. But Jake didn't learn about the lawsuit against him until October of 2021. Are you guys following me here? Because it's confusing to me. It was confusing me for a second. So he's got grounds here. That's messed up. So he doesn't hear, like, just a couple of months after this is filed, he meets with Jake in person. And there's been a lawsuit that Ralston filed against Jake And Jacob doesn't learn about it until like a year later, right? Till almost a year later. But he has lunch with him. He sits down and he has lunch with him at a golf resort where the Dallas Cowboys shoot golf, right? Why didn't he mention it? Jake's got a point here. Why didn't he mention the lawsuit against him at that lunch? Right? You're there to coach him on what to do in Michael's case, but you don't mention that there's a lawsuit already filed against you. Okay. Wow. All right. During this meeting, Mr. Routson did not mention that he had filed a petition pertaining to the child subject of this suit. He instead offered advice on how to talk to CPS and the amicus attorneys. He specifically offered advice on how Jacob was to make sure and not paint Kelly in a bad light. At no point did Routson inform Jake that he had in fact filed a lawsuit against Jake and that he had the right to representation of his own. Wow. And that he had a right to representation of his own, and that by speaking with Routson, he could be placing his own case in jeopardy. Routson used Jake in order to gain a favorable ruling in another case, even though he knew all the while he had an ongoing case pending against Jake. The Routson law firm has set up a trust, the Kelly Long Trust, with 100% of the funds going to the benefit of Kelly and her children, one of which is the child, the subject of this suit, which nobody knew about while all this was going on. Nobody knew about it. Jake didn't even know about it, is the point. Mr. Routson is the only person that can testify to the details of the trust and the amount of money Kelly receives from it. Routson is the only person that can testify to the information he provided to Jake and the information Jake provided to Routson. The information gathered in the meeting is essential to the case at hand based on the October 4th, 2021 affidavit of Kelly Long. Wow. All right. And that is it, guys. No Phoebe. Sophie is no longer missing. I'm guessing, I mean, to me, it's irrelevant as to what country that they were in. But, I mean, I'm guessing it's Mexico. It makes sense that it would be Mexico. I mean, he was in Texas. And then he went to where? Arizona, wasn't it? I mean, you know, south of the border. It makes sense. Oh, my God. Why am I checking DMs, Cherry? You better not be wasting my time with craziness. Better not be wasting my time with craziness. You understand me? Oh, God. Just reading this name just exhausts me. Like, all right. Does anybody want me to read the statement from Courtney? I mean, I'll read it, but Courtney has just like no credibility with me at all. None at all. But I'll read it. I'll read it. If you want me to read it, I'll read it. I'll read it. Thank you from the depths of my soul to every single person who has cared about the kids and about bringing Sophie home safely. I know everyone just wants them to be, she's accepting an award now, guys. I know everyone just wants them to be safe and on a road to healing so they can live healthy lives. For those of you who don't understand why Sophie was not in a safe place with Michael, there have been so many things not shared with the public that put Sophie in grave danger at the hands of Michael. There are no sides to choose. There is no team, Kelly or Michael or anyone else. There are only the children and what can be done to keep them safe. Yeah, I really believe that coming from you. Unfortunately, things took a very dark turn when it comes to the decisions Michael has been making in regards to Sophie's safety. He has taught her how to shoot and reload a gun with the instruction to fire at law enforcement if they came to remove her. Now, how does she know this? Like, before I move on, okay, keep in mind, how the hell would she know this? Law enforcement's not going to tell her that. They're going to say this is an open case. I'm not going to. You're not the mom. You're not the mom of her. So you don't have any rights over this kid, and I'm not going to share this information with you. Like, now, do I think that Michael has taught her how to handle a gun? Probably. Probably. He lives in Texas. How many kids in Texas do you think parents have taught to handle a firearm? Now, do I believe that she was taught to point and shoot at law enforcement if they came about? No. No, I don't believe that for a second. Not even like for a minute millisecond do I believe that. No. Taught her to shoot and reload a gun with the instruction to fire at law enforcement. If they came to remove her from the home they were hiding out in Gilbert, Arizona, he had her swear an oath to him to die before she was removed from him. He attempted to get medication from a caretaker at a zoo to give to Sophie to alleviate the pain she was having and insisted on giving it to her even after the caretaker informed him she could overdose and die. He chose this rather than taking her to great medical care. There was no break-in. There was no deposit he had to pay. He was staying at a family member's home. His former sister-in-law, the FBI, and the Texas Rangers came into the house only in the last week because it became clear that Sophie was in grave danger. I am beyond grateful to all those who stepped in to take the matter seriously after audio video of Michael acting erratically and stating all of this to a young woman who had been having romantic relationship with. There you have it, folks. There you have the motive behind this statement. Scorned woman. Do I need to say it again? And was given to law enforcement. It was included threats to blow my brains out and even said others would do it for him. He also said Limey was at the top of his list and he had people overseas who could handle her as well. He needs help. I hope he gets the mental health care he needs in custody. Sophie will be getting the treatment she has deserved and needed this whole time to be able to recover and be healthy, happy child again. She should be going to school and activities with friends, not being trained to fire at law enforcement or coerced to end her own life if they try to remove her from him. She will not be going to her biological mother, and Jake is no longer a threat to her. She will also no longer be placed with Kelly's sister. She will be loved and safe and allowed to flourish again with the help of good people and God. What did I tell you? This is consistent with Tim Dickworthy's statement earlier, and I said that she is his source for information, and she's not a credible source for information. I will go into that again. I will go into why that's the case again after I finish reading this. She will be loved and safe and allowed to flourish again with the help of blah, blah, blah. Those who helped Michael hide her while they knew he was unwell and likely to get her killed, I'm hoping will be held very accountable. This includes John and Jeannie Long. This includes Alyssa. This includes an ex-sister-in-law and brother. I can only imagine how many others will be found now that the FBI is looking into it. Jeannie Long and Alyssa actually had their, I don't have the rest of this. Oh, yeah, I do. had their neighbor drive them to the Austin airport to fly out and meet Michael, Sophie, and his father John in Arizona after he ran with her July 7th. Jeannie then flew back, got her car in hiding and got her car out of hiding and behind a neighbor's building on a property nearby, and told law enforcement she had no clue where Sophie was. She lied. Alyssa told police she was not with Michael and had no knowledge of where Sophie was. She lied. Jeannie Long told her elderly neighbor the Mexican mafia would kill her if they found out they knew about them wanting Sophie back, so he would stay quiet. So she would stay quiet about them tricking her into helping them. Yes, that is correct. She convinced this poor woman who became afraid all the time that the Mexican mafia are the ones who want Sophie. Then Michael took Sophie to Mexico. Makes sense, right? No. Hopefully we can share more soon, but for now, want to thank you all again and send so much love to you and all of your families this holiday season. And finally, I'd like to thank the Academy. Unreal. That's not a credible source for information, people. It's just not. It's just not. Because she has her own child custody case currently pending against Michael for their son, Phoenix. So it's just not a credible source for information. This is another reason why I call absolute bullshit on this, because why? How convenient that the very day that Michael Long gets arrested and a statement gets released, that we get all of this new information from Courtney. Why didn't we get this information before? Why are we getting it now? Why didn't we get this information before? Why, if she had all this information to share, right? Why didn't she share this before? People, you got to use your eyes. I mean, every single adult involved in this case is completely and totally catastrophied in the head. Okay, now listen, y'all are thinking that's not a word, Will, and I'm thinking yes it is, because I just said it and you understood what I meant, didn't you? Want me to spell it? Shut up. I'm not going to spell it. Do I think Michael is guilty of what? Do I think Michael is guilty of running and crossing the border with Sophie? Yeah, of course. Of course. Did he do that? Yes, of course. Do I think that he did that because the court made a very, very unfair and insane ruling and judgment? Yes. Yes, I do. Do I think he deserves to go to jail for as long as he's going to be going to jail? No. No, I don't. Do I think any of the shit that Courtney states in that statement is true? No. No, I don't. And another reason why Courtney is not credible is because all of the research and all of the information about Collin County Court, all of the information about Kelly and everything and all of the legwork done in order to convince us all that Sophie's claims against Jake and Kelly were real came from Courtney. She did it all. She facilitated all of it. She did all the work. Now, all of a sudden, Michael's a villain. If anybody, I will say it, I've said it before, I will say it 100 more times, people. Said it 100 times before, I'll say it 100 times again. If anybody is guilty of coaching Sophie, it is Courtney. Because every single time we see a video of Sophie talking, guess who's holding the camera and talking to her? Courtney. Every single time, people. You got to use your eyes. Okay? Oh, that ain't even nothing. I mean, this whole thing, I mean, I'm glad it's over. I got to be honest with you. I'm glad it's over. Now, I don't know what's going to happen to Sophie. Coming from her, I don't know. If I'm going to go with, cuz it says right here in the sheriff's statement, the Collin County Sheriff's, like it says right there that Sophie is going home to her family. Courtney says she's not. So who am I going to believe? You know what? That's a tough one, because I think there are some dirty, dirty, dirty folks working in the Collin County Sheriff's Office. I always thought so. And you know why I thought that? Because Courtney told me and showed me evidence. All the evidence I got came from Courtney. Come on, people. Come on, man. Hmm. Interesting. No, yeah, let me be clear about that too. I don't believe Sophie was coached at all. I'm saying if she was coached, it was Courtney. I'm telling you. Like, if she was coached, it was Courtney. Do I think that Michael is the kind of dad that needs to have a woman around to handle things for him? Absolutely. Totally. Totally. Do I think he's got bad taste in women? Don't even get me started. But I'm nobody to talk. But he I think that he has bad taste in women, makes bad choices with women, and then gets them to do whatever needs to be done. He's a you handle that, honey, kind of guy. You handle that, honey, and then let me know. That's the kind of guy that I think Michael is. Yeah, it's so funny, right? I mean, it's so funny. All of a sudden, because she writes nice little, award accepting speeches on social media, all of a sudden now she's credible. The whole world, that whole side of things, hated her. They couldn't stand her. Colostomy Karen, she couldn't even she talked about her like she was the worst person on the planet. Now everybody, now that she's, you know, not with Michael anymore and she's got her own custody fight going against Michael, now everybody loves her. Everybody, now everything that she says is gospel, right? Now everything she says is gospel. I love it. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be public record at some point. I'm sure it's going to be public record at some point. So, I mean, we'll find out, right? But be careful, because they'd have to be able to prove that. They'd have to be able to prove that. I want proof. I want proof. I want to hear, I want to read an arrest affidavit. I want to read an arrest affidavit against Michael Long that says Sophie loaded and pointed a gun at law enforcement with the intent to fire. It's the only thing that's going to make me believe that. Not hearsay, not, hey, we've been told that Sophie was taught how to load a rifle and fire it at law enforcement and to not be taken alive. Yeah, I want to read that that's how that went down. I want to read that arrest affidavit, and I want to read that that's how that went down. That Sophie was like, "Get away from me!" Yeah, I don't buy it. I don't buy it for 1 second. I mean, he did cross the border, man. He did cross the border. I don't know if that automatically qualifies of it making a federal case, but the U.S. Marshals are the ones that apprehend him. Because I was wondering, I was like, how are they able to, uh, how are they able to have jurisdiction to cross the border to arrest him? But it makes sense because the U.S. Marshals are a federal agency, so they could absolutely do that. I'm telling you, if Tommy Lee Jones from The Fugitive wants to cross the border to go get somebody, he's going to do it. You know what I'm saying? Deputy Samuel Gerard, love it. Right. Well, he hadn't been extradited yet. He was in the process of being extradited, according to that statement. I'm only going based on that statement. I'm not going by anything Courtney says or any other jackass on the internet. I'm just not doing that. And you know what? from from the from the behavior that I've seen coming from the police, um, regarding this case a year ago, I'm not really buying into a whole bunch of what they're saying either. Yeah, I know. Talking about Michael Long like he's David Koresh. Dude, give me a break, man. Not, Cherry, stop. Leave me alone, man. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I have merch. The link is in the chat if you want to buy merch. Got cool merch. Buy it. They make great Christmas gifts. Stocking stuffers. Put them under the tree. Don't give them to your kids. Give them to your significant other. If you hate your boss, give something to them. Thanks. They call me the troll. I come with amazing new merch. Check it out here. No meth gators were harmed in the making of this merch. Buy it. God, another DM? Yes, I have merch, Punky Banana. The link's in the chat. What is this? What is this? What am I reading? Oh God. I'm not doing that tonight. Oh, I mean, you know what? It's really not a lot. It's just really difficult to read. How old is this? How old is this post from Tim Dixworth? Because I actually have a court document that says that his appeal was denied, which was like just before they caught him. Like his appeal was denied, and then they went into that. That's what happened. Basically, Michael filed an appeal. It was denied, and then they went down and got him. So I don't know. It just says 23 minutes on the thing. Doesn't have a date. Just says 23 minutes. So, oh God, okay. Dude, yeah, there's no way I can read this. I need something better than this if I'm going to read it. Um, okay, I'll try. Okay. I am the father of respondent Jake Bellington in this case and paternal grandfather to Jake and Kelly's kid. On or above about Friday 2021, I assisted Jacob when his truck broke down and was being arrested on the shoulder of the northbound express lane on I-35. He asked me to take our kid, our child, or their child, and to contact Kelly. I informed the police that I was going to QT to meet my other son, and then I got into Jake's truck with with my grandchild and immediately called Kelly to inform her that Jake had been arrested and that I had my grandchild, her son. I was unable to hear very well because of the diesel engine from Jake's truck. I'm reading like a Xerox copy and it's all dark on one side here. So um blah 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 on the road and trying to calm the child down. She stated that she knew Jake had been arrested already because she already knew he'd been arrested, and I wasn't able to hear her very well. I informed her that I had stuff going on and that I needed to handle, inferring that I needed to get my grandchild this is impossible to read. Okay. I mean, nice work getting this, but I need something better than this because it's like a terrible Xerox copy. Um, well, that doesn't make sense. If he was arrested and if he was arrested in another country on foreign soil and they're bringing him back, that's extradition. That's not deportation. But okay, I could see. So if the local police or whatever of that foreign soil, I'm guessing it's Mexico. So if the Mexican police, let's say it's the Mexican police, I'm just going to assume so. If it's the Mexican police that caught Michael there and he's illegal and they're deporting him, it would make sense that Sophie would be deported as well if he doesn't have any legal rights over her, but not with him. You seem to have a lot of information here, and I don't know where you're getting this information. Why would I mean if none of this makes sense as to why we would get this release from the Collin County sheriffs? Makes no sense. At least not to me. Okay, yeah, then I know who that is. But even still, like, it still doesn't make any sense. It still doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, I need documentation to sit here and express that as fact. I'm not taking that as fact until I see documentation. So I'm not saying I don't believe it. I'm just saying I'm not just gonna start blurting out hearsay, you know? Right. Right. If he was arrested on a warrant that he already had and the US Marshals were involved, well, yeah, he's being extradited. Right. I mean, I don't know for sure. I don't know all of the details. You know what I mean? I don't know how that works. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a cop. I don't know. Okay, let me see something real quick. Let me just okay. So I'm looking at something here. As a matter of fact, let me do this. All right. Because I can't really see that, but I'm going to show it, and then we'll decide if this is what I think it is. This is filed December 2nd, 2021. Okay. All right. All right. December 2nd, 2021. Before Justice Burns, this is on appeal from the 417th Judicial District Court, Collin County, Texas, trial court, cause number blah, 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 blah. Before Chief Justice Burns, Justice Mulberg, and Justice Smith, opinion by Justice Burns, Chief Justice Burns, by notice of appeal filed August 24th, 2021. Appellant challenges the trial court's August 4th, 2021 order on motion for enforcement. The order holds appellant in contempt and confines him to county jail. Because contempt orders involving confinement are only reviewable by writ of habeas corpus, we questioned our jurisdiction over this appeal. And then it names some other case there, and I'm not going over all the serial numbers and blah, blah, blah. At our direction, appellant filed a letter brief in a response stating he desires to appeal the matter in its entirety, and noting a final order was signed. Noting a final order was signed September 7th, 2021. An appeal of the matter in its entirety, however, does not give us jurisdiction over an order of contempt involving confinement. Additionally, the September 7th final order of the subject of appealing case, blah, 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 and that appeal brought forward the entire case. And it says denied according to the light of the circumstances before we dismiss the appeal. On the very bottom there, it says we dismiss the appeal. And this was filed on the 2nd. So this denial was filed on the 2nd. So I don't care what they say about maybe. I mean, all I know is that looks like why he would cross the border to me. You know what I mean? That's what that sounds like to me. Is well, that's a reason to cross the border, or I should say, a motive to cross the border. Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I'll believe he's just simply being deported and not being extradited when I see him come back and post another guitar playing thing on on Facebook or wherever he's doing it. That's just where I'm at, man. Oh, okay. So you're talking about the termination of parental rights. That's a different appeal. Okay, I got you, Tom Riddle. Thank you. He was denied that already, though, Angel. He was already denied that. That's the whole point. He appealed it and it was denied. That's what I just read. Dude, what do you mean you missed the dogs? Panda's still right here. She's just passed out. See? Oh, you like my guitar fingers sign language? So do the ladies. You know what I mean? I'm stupid. I mean, I hope he doesn't go to jail. I'm you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm saying that I think he's gonna, but I hope he doesn't. I don't want him to go to jail. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he deserves to go to jail. I honestly don't think that he deserves to go to jail. Like that ruling, that ruling from Wheelis is insane. It's just insane. It's cruel and unusual. It makes no sense. I don't know. I mean, there's already I mean, he he never got he never got a jury trial, which he requested and was denied when he requested it. Which is his constitutional right to have. His constitutional right dictates that you can't just send somebody to jail. It doesn't work like that for some crazy extended period of time. Right. And if he could show all of the evidence to a jury, there's no way he would go to jail. But the judge denied him that. Why? It makes no sense. And we've gone over this and over this and over this and over this. I've gone over transcripts. I've gone over the evidence that he would present. I've gone over all of this. Yeah. And 180 days is excessive, to say the least. Excessive as hell. For what? What did he do? Yeah, it's crazy to me. This whole case. I mean, we all wouldn't be talking about it if if this was normal. We wouldn't be talking about it. Angel, did you reach out to Uncivil Law like I advised you to? Because I I want to help you. I don't have the means to help you. Uh because I don't understand how the law works. You need to reach out to a YouTuber who practices law, and there's a bunch of them out there. No, they got him, Cherie Chapman. According to Collin County Sheriff, Michael has been arrested and Sophie is being returned back to her family, quote unquote. And I'm going to have a field day if that statement is false. You know what I mean? Like, why would they release a press release like that? Why would they release a statement saying that if it's untrue? I mean, what kind of sheriff's office does that? So I'm going to have a blast with it if it turns out to not be true. Because no sheriff's office in any of the real crime cases that I talk about on here would do that. None of them. None of them. That's what I thought, Flower Child. That's what I thought. Because only federal agencies would have the jurisdiction to cross the border, and according to cross the border and manhunt. So according to that Collin County Sheriff's statement, they were working with the U.S. Marshals, I think. Yeah, I'm guessing he probably did. And if he crossed the border, he did it illegally. If you've got a warrant for your arrest, there's no way you're crossing the border and not getting noticed unless you're crossing the border illegally. See, there's that typo again. See, Cherry's phone has a typo. It's real crime. It's real crime. It's not true crime. It's real crime. I even put it in my new intro. So it clearly states that Cherry's phone has typos. Real crime. So interference with child custody. It's a Texas state crime and it is considered a state jail felony, punishable by up to 2 years in prison. 2 years. See, she keeps like even her phone makes typos saying like there's not supposed to be a not there. It's just supposed to say effing typo troll. That's all. It's all it's supposed to say. Her phone just keeps messing up. I mean, she's a great mod. She just needs to like get a new phone or something. I don't know, because it's real crime, not true crime. True crime is what Molly Golightly and those other fools do. We don't do that stuff here. Watch my live stream from early this afternoon. You can watch that, and you'll learn the difference between true crime and real crime. Real crime, we actually do research here. Real crime, we actually share facts. And in real crime, we don't harass victims' families. Really, Panda? All right. Yeah. That's pill popping crime. That's what that is. It's pill popping crime. We don't do that here. We don't do that here. All right, guys. That's enough for me. Just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in. So, yeah, if there's any more developments in this, anything different here happens other than what I talked about, I will go over it. So I love you guys, and thanks for joining. And for anybody that subscribed, thank you. Don't forget to hit that like on your way out. I really appreciate it. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And we will do this again very soon, my friends.